What kind of problems do missionaries face? Cedric Johnson and David Penner, they surveyed 55 North American Protestant mission agencies with more than 100 staff members overseas. The missionaries listed the following problems in rank order. Number 1, relationship with other missionaries. Number 2, cultural adjustments. Number 3, managing general stress. Number 4, raising children. Number 5, marriage difficulties. Number 6, financial pressures. And number 7, loneliness. But did you notice what number 1 was? The number 1 challenge for missionaries, it is this: relationships with other missionaries. The German philosopher Schopenhauer compared the human race to a bunch of porcupines huddled together on a cold winter's night. He said the colder it gets outside, the more we huddle together for warmth. But the closer we get to one another, the more we hurt one another with our sharp quills. And in the lonely night of Earth's winter, we eventually begin to drift apart, and we wander out on our own, and we freeze to death in our loneliness. Have you ever met a person that had the letters EGR written on their forehead? Now, EGR stands for extra grace required, and if you have not encountered a very draining person, you are either such a person or you have lived a very isolated life. And by the way, we could use some unity, come on, at home, work, school, countless other places. We could use some harmony. There's too many factions and divisions and fractures that are reaping destruction. We need unity, and unity only happens when you learn to deal with the difficult person in your life. Now, I'm sure Paul had his share of difficult people to contend with. Listen to his advice for us. Ephesians 4, verse 1. I, therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Now, walking in unity requires practicing 4 steps. First of all, you must practice humility. The Ephesians knew what humility was all about because they had watched Paul. In Acts 20, verse 19, Paul notes his ministry among them. He said, I served the Lord with great humility and with tears. Number 2, you must practice gentleness. Now, gentleness or meekness is not weakness. And those who show gentleness must show consideration for others. They are willing to waive their rights, giving space and grace to others. Third, you must practice patience. Now, patience makes allowances for people's shortcomings. Patience endures wrongs. And when a difficult person pushes your buttons, you do not fly into a rage or try to get even. You are patient with them. Number 4, one must practice love. When you really love people, you can put up with all kinds of craziness. That kind of love comes from God. When you are rooted and established in God's love, then loving others comes easier. A young father in a supermarket was pushing a shopping cart with his little son, who was strapped in the front. The little boy was fussing. He was irritable and he was crying, and the other shoppers gave the pair a wide berth because the child would pull cans off the shelves and throw them out of the cart. The father seemed to be very calm. As he continued down each aisle, he murmured gently, Now easy, Donald. Keep calm, Donald. Steady, boy. It's all right, Donald. A mother who was passing by was greatly impressed by this young father's attitude. She said, You certainly know how to talk to an upset child quietly and gently. And then bending down to the little boy, she said, What seems to be the trouble, Donald? Oh no, said the father, he's Henry. I'm Donald. This dad, who was dealing with one little difficult person, illustrates what it's like sometimes in the church. Walking in unity requires practicing humility, gentleness, patience, and love. Next time you deal with an EGR kind of person, think of Donald. Next time you deal with an EGR person, think of Paul's words. He said, I therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Let's have unity as we respond right to the people that seem to be pushing our buttons. Let's experience the peace of God as we do the right thing.